Hello and welcome back to episode 5 of Paz Pod. We've been talking to Ash today. Are you looking forward to getting that information out there of what the Bean on the Fork has been doing over the last 4 years or so?
Yeah, I mean, it was a different, it was a different recording. It was a different recording than we've had before. Ash was quite happy to bear all, to be fair, but that's what happens when you preempt people and they get told up before they come on. So he's in good form.
He was every time he said "bloody hell," it made me laugh because he turned slightly Cockney. It was very different to the rest of the interview. Before we go on to speak to Ash, we've had an update in the last kind of few hours, realistically, of what's happening with rugby training. So, what's the news, Phil?
Yes, finally we can play touch again.
Yes,
which is huge news for most of the lads. I mean, I think George Billing has texted me every Tuesday and Thursday for the last 3 weeks asking if he's allowed to play touch tonight. So that'll stop that. I've even put it in the group this morning just so he doesn't text me anymore. So, yeah, I think that's going to be massive. I think we'll have a good week this week, training-wise. And obviously with the fact that we're allowed to play 10-a-side touch and the RFU have outlined some rules for a potential game where we can play other clubs. Whether we do that or not, I'm not sure. But at least we can do it in training and play touch like we used to.
Yeah. So I think that's what the lads been crying out for, really. And having a bit of competitiveness about it again.
Definitely.
And see what we can do, and hopefully do some more gameplay scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, if we can do groups of 20 in terms of 2 teams of 10, then now we can look at doing, some non-contact drills that are a bit more rugby orientated as well. I think, again, for me and Nathan, that's a bit of a lifesaver because we were running out of things to do with 6 people.
Yeah, no, understandable. Talk about the RSU. That was one good thing they've done. They've also had a little bit of a, shit in their own shoes, isn't they, really?
Yeah, they've somehow come to the conclusion that getting rid of a professional sevens setup for the international level is a good idea. So now there will be no international sevens England team for men or women. So I'm not sure how that works. They've also obviously cut the funding to the RFU Championship. They've closed, I think what was Leeds Carnegie's academy. That's gone. So they're making a lot of cuts. There's hundreds of jobs gone in community rugby, via what used to be RDOs. I'm not sure what they were calling themselves now. So the RFU are obviously trying to save money. As the richest national governing body in the world, I don't understand what they're doing. I just can't see what they're trying to do.
As much as 107 million, I think, was the projected loss, I would have hoped that the RFU would have some pockets of money to lessen that blow. But maybe that money is going on a holiday home more than it is.
I can't see where that money's going.
No.
They don't, it doesn't. Obviously, they've got people administrating and doing all that stuff for the community leagues that we play in. But, we don't receive that much from the RFU anyway. As a club, they cover some of the first team travel, so I think we get a certain amount of travel paid for. But obviously, the club just put on a bus, when we get that money in, and we only had 2 buses this year. But obviously, the season was cut short, so maybe there was enough money for 4. I don't know. Yeah. I can't see where the money goes. I mean, the England players, first team 15, get paid a fair amount per game, but they're the top level, and argument is that they don't need to be paid as much as they are, but they are. But that's not 107 million pounds worth.
No.
Obviously, the stadium was built a few years back, and whether there's some debt falling out the back of that, but it's something's gone seriously wrong there, and they're not being very open about it either. They're just cutting all these things and not really saying what the strategy is.
No, and to have like you said, the richest governing body, and also of the country who have just come out the back of a World Cup final, lost, but whatever, a successful few years really under Eddie, you'd have thought, as one of the big players in international rugby, we should really try to be holding on to that legacy. But it seems like the legacy is getting less and less, from my point of view anyway. I don't know about yours.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, well, if you look at the England team now, you've got a lot of lads in there that have, not originally been rugby players. Your Ellis Genges, your Ludlums, they've all come through the community programme. And a few others in there as well who if it wasn't for the community programme, wouldn't have been found. So the fact that they're cutting funding into that seems bizarre if they want to continue to be a top nation.
Yeah, definitely. And with this whole kind of dual citizenship stuff, it's just going to start losing players otherwise, because other countries are going to pick up on the fact that someone had a French granddad or whatever, and they've got a USAP and stuff, and it's a bit of a pointless move, in my opinion. I don't think they really understand I'd hope they understand what they're doing, but I don't think they thought it through or spoken to any of the clubs, because I doubt the clubs would have backed that. So I'm not sure really where they've...
No, the Sevens players were only told at the beginning of the week that they were losing their jobs after the end of their contract, which went out at the end of August. So
yeah,
it's a bit disgraceful, really.
That's crazy, because in the real world, so if you've been made redundant, you need more than 3 weeks to take that. I wonder if there'll be more cases off the back of that. But there we go. I mean, it's nice to play a sport where you don't really support the governing body.
Yeah, it doesn't affect us too much. We'll carry on as normal. Well, now we can play touch. No one gives a shit. But it's just a bit. It's just it would be nice to know what the RFU are doing, because there's a lot of money there, and they've made a huge loss this year, and you question where that money's gone.
Yeah, definitely. All I think pretty much everyone will be asking for is just a bit of transparency.
Yeah.
So people can know if it's going somewhere and there's a good reason behind it, then I probably wouldn't moan as much. But because we don't know about it, Anyway, should we get on into talking to Ash? Or did you...
Go on then.
But yeah, we'll talk to Bean then. All right, then we'll catch up in a bit. Here we are, again, new guest. Someone that's not played rugby in quite a while, realistically, hence the old Pavi shirt there. We've not got much to intro on, because we're not allowed to hold stats that long. Same problem we had with Josh Peck as well. So all I've got is you recently, in the last 4 seasons, you've learned to ski and then went to work on a farm. So considering it's been a while since people have seen you play, can you just give us a quick summary of who you are, what position you play in, and who you based your playing style on as well, Ash?
All right, okay, yeah. All right, so I'm Ash Wetherill. I played at PAS since I was about 6 years old. And then I ended up playing for a team I've only ever played for PAS apart from one other team, which was Ponteland in Newcastle. I moved up there for a bit. And then I played, everywhere in the back line, apart from 10, because I'm not a thinker, I'm a crash baller, or just get the ball and run, or a tackler, whatever. So, just kind of, I think I'm more of who would I be? I'd be like Tyndall on the crash or something like that. Yeah, bit of a meathead. Just get stuck into it.
I think that's a fair way to describe you. To be fair, Eggy, I've never asked you that question either. Well, who did you base your playing style on?
No one really. I wouldn't say I imitated anyone. I think Tom Croft was probably someone I looked at as someone I wanted to play like, but then both of us had a rather large amount of injuries, so maybe I was emulating him a bit more than I thought. But Tom Croft was probably who I kind of focused on, but I'm not playing that much rugby, sadly.
That's fair. I was just trying to think if I had anyone. I don't think I have anyone at all. Tom Casey. Tom Casey will do. I base my style on Tom Casey. He's
extraordinary lad.
So obviously, if you've seen the pub before, you see that we put out for people to send questions in. We don't normally have a question so early on, but it kind of feels like it should fit. It's actually from Casey himself. He wants you to explain the story behind the nickname Bean Juice.
Is that what his question was?
That was his question.
And to be honest, I'm not sure, if I'm honest. I thought about this and I thought, where the hell does that come from? And all I could think of was Nath one time when we was training. He just goes, Ash, Ash. And I was running off and he went, put your arms in the air like that. And I went like that. And he went, bean on a fork, bean on a fork. And then I think someone tagged onto it. And then I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, bloody hell. I thought, oh, that's going to come on. And I'm sure George or someone then, or Rich or someone just went, Bean Juice. Or Will Crosley probably, actually, out of everyone. And then that was it. Boom. Bean Juice was just, or whatever else they want to say. But yeah, that is where I think it came from. But all of a sudden it just started happening one weekend. Everyone was like, Bean Juice, Bean Juice. I was like, bloody hell.
To be fair, I didn't know that was your nickname, to be honest. And I've known.
No, I didn't. It's only rugby lads that call me that, but like usually it's Ash. Do you know what I mean?
Nicknames do tend to stick quite hard at Paviers, however irrelevant to that person they are. So there's a lad in the academy whose nickname is Mushroom, and there is no reason for his nickname. I don't know any reason why he'd be called Mushroom. There's no like legitimate reasoning behind it, but he is now Mushroom, and he's never going to shake it.
We had the.
Mine's got a lot to do with my ginger hair though, and then the bean on the fork, and then there's a bean in the middle.
There is one of my favourite rugby nicknames is I used to play with a guy at home in Gillingham called Tits, and I only ever knew him as Tits. I didn't know he had a first name, and I assumed it's because he was quite a big lad himself. But and then I met his partner, and that was when I found out why he was called Tits. So, just a warning as well. We have some stories which we're going to come on to, and you mentioned Will Crosley. I've been speaking to Will quite a lot over the last 24 to 48 hours.
It's a terrible company.
It's a terrible human. I'll take that one up with him, if that's all right. But the one thing I want to ask you before we go any further is, can you please talk me through George Bilham's stag do?
Which one? The one in Melbourne or the one in Swaddling Coat?
You know which one I really care about, the one we're dating.
Swaddling Coat, I assume, then. The jacuzzi jobby. Yeah, well, that got a bit out of hand, as usual. We went to this random place in Swaddling Coat in Derbyshire. And there was a fair few of us, like Will, George, there was Big Steve, and like I say, there was about 10 of us. Rich LaPlanche was there as well. And that night just got out of hand. The first night just got way out of hand. Everyone was just flipping absolutely battered. And then basically I woke up and I was like, right, I'm going to get plastered today. I've got a free day. Let's do what we want. So I've literally just picked up a bottle of JD and I was like, right, I'm getting on it straight away. It was probably about, 9 o'clock in the morning. And then Rich LaPlanche turned up that day with a keg, chiller, everything. So everyone was on all these beers that he'd bought up. And then the whole thing was to bring something random. So people were bringing like slip and slide contests, flipping like all these different games and things, right? So Will turned up with this tarpaulin. We got loads of, it sounds like gay, but fairy liquid everywhere, not in a gay way. And we started this game up and everyone was just playing this. We played the big lads versus the small lads. So it was like Big Steve and all that, like Will and that lot, and against me and Doug and a couple of smaller lads height wise. And that got out of hand. And obviously we're just drinking all day. And then everyone's in this jacuzzi and I just started diving in it. And before you know it, I'm about nearly passing out because I can't get back out of the damn thing. And then on that thing you saw earlier on the Instagram story, that was me just pissed up. And then I was just like messing around with the lads and I get a bit hyperactive like I do. And then all of a sudden, it was about 10 o'clock at night. I've been drinking all day for probably, like I say, a good 12-hour big sesh. Ran into the kitchen. And it was tiled floor, and I'm just been in this jacuzzi, so I'm slippy as hell. So I'm flipping, just slipped over, and I whacked my head on the flipping side of the oven, and it literally just went boom, and I went, fuck, Jesus, like this. And then Will and that lot come in, and like, bloody hell, look at you. And I'm on the floor, and all my eyes all cut. And I was like, flipping out, it was gashing everywhere. Next thing you know, they're like, right, we need to go out, we need to go to the shop. So they just ran down to the shop, and I was like, oh, it's all right. No, we need to do something to it. Someone calls back the load of super glue. So then I'm like, flipping out, you're going to tie us up with a load of super glue. Next thing you know, Will Crosley's got this damn super glue in his hand. He's doing the super glue and he's like shit. I'm like, what? He says, it's all right, but I'm freaking stuck to you. So next thing I got Will like stuck to my his hand stuck to my head. I'm trying to pull him off. He's like, I can't. It's like stuck. Don't open the gash up again. So we had to just pull it down. He pulled it, and then we just sealed it back up. And I was like, oh God. And then, like, to be fair, you couldn't even tell. You couldn't even tell. And then flipping 2 weeks later, I was playing Ilkeston, and I got handed off in the eye and did my detached retina 2 weeks later, and that cut all my eye as well. And I was at the hospital saying to the woman, look, I says to the woman, I says, look, just super glue it. She goes, what do you mean? I goes, look at my other eye. I says, 2 weeks ago, I fell over and whacked my head on the oven. Now this other eye needs doing. I said, just super glue it. Don't stitch it at all. So she then super glued it, and then I got 2 flipping cuts on my eyes, and yeah, just flipping, all from that. That's from what you get. Oh, that's what happens when you wake up drinking JD at like 10 in the morning. And then,
do you want to embellish the? You might as well roll into the detached retina story from there, I think.
Oh yeah, that was half of it. To be fair, like I say, I was playing against Ilkeston, that shocking tackle. Like I just went too high on this winger, and he just put his hand out and just went poof straight at my other eye. And I was like, bloody hell, that hurt. And then I just put my hand to my head, and I was like, whoa, like I've been smacked by him. And then hit the deck, and then Kim comes across, oh, you're right. And I was like, no, not really. She goes, whoa, that's not what I was expecting. And apparently all my eye was just all open at the top of my eye, above my eyelid. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel too good, to be fair. She goes, get over it. She goes, you got to go to hospital. You got to go to hospital. So I went to A&E, and then no one obviously realised what was going on, because I didn't know how bad it was. And then, just got there, got it patched up and everything. About a week later, I trained on it, and then played about another game, I think, on it. And then I stood in the kitchen, and I couldn't see half the kitchen. It was all just gone, and I was like, where's it gone? Like, I can't see anything. And then went to the opticians, and they were like, yeah, I was literally like, where's half the flipping? I couldn't see. I was like, what's going on?
Especially that beak as well. That's like an absolute.
I just couldn't see a thing. I was like, oh man. And then went to the opticians. They were like, oh yeah, you need to get to the hospital now. And I was like, why? They were like, you need to get to the hospital. I says, what's going on? She goes, you literally, you back your eyes peeling off your eyeball. And I was like, oh shit, I do need to get to the hospital now. So we rang up, and then the day after I was straight in, and they were like, yeah, we need to check it. And I was like, oh God. Then the guy there was like, yeah, you definitely need to come in soon, or you're going to go blind. I was like, oh God, this was one crap tackle where they went too high and the guy handed me off. And I was like, oh man. So then I had this operation, and then they kind of put this band around your eye, and I was like, oh, I sound, now I'm back to normal again. Then I stupidly, because I wanted to get back into everything, went to the gym like 4 days later, did some deadlifts and stuff, felt something go in my eye because I was too much stress, popped it again. Then I had to go back for a second checkup. They were like, it's already, you've done it again. You have to have the next one up now. And I was like, what's that then? They're like, oh, I'm going to take a bit of your lens off, change it, and then put it back on. And I was like, oh, for God's sake. So they did that, and then they had to put this gas bubble in my eye as well. So from that, I had to have it taken off, put this gas bubble in, put it back on, and then I had to like basically have my face flat, head down for 50 minutes of every hour for a week and a half. So for a week and a half, I was like lying down. I borrowed my sister's pregnancy pillow, the V, and I had my face in that. Just put loads of music on, and I was like, "This is crazy! Like, what's going on here?" Like, I had like 3 months off work in total because I just couldn't do anything. And honestly, it was a shocking time.
Eyes are it's ridiculously dangerous, and like the pressure thing in your eyes are quite unknown, I think. Yeah. So when I fractured my cheek and skull, the orbit below my eye was snapped in half, so my eye sunk down, but I wasn't aware of that, and it wasn't until I went to MaxFax and they put me into the eye ward that they were like, oh, your eye's sunken down. If you don't get that fixed soon, or we don't just about soon, you'll go blind. And you're just like, oh, and they're like, oh, the pressure's down in your eye as well. You lost sight, and you're like, you don't. It's like you could see. I don't know whether you had the same thing, Ash, but I could see like blood in my eye.
Yeah. It was like blood and dark as well. So it was like blood red, and then it was black, and I was like, oh God.
Oh, I didn't have the blackness, but I could. It was like, you know, when you get like a camera shot when the camera's halfway out of the water, and the water's like, it was like that,
really?
And it really made me disorientated and ill, made you feel sick. Well, I thought that was just because I'd broken my cheek and I had a bit of a swollen face, obviously, but I've already got a swollen face. But yeah, so eyes are terrifying. I mean, did you spend time on the eye ward at the QMC then?
Yeah, but it was only like I was in and out most of the time. Oh, then again, I was put under twice, which I didn't realise. And then like they said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put you under." This anaesthetist was like, "Don't worry, I'll look after you." And I was like, "Okay, mate." He's like, "No, I will be gentle when you're under." And he goes, "You're going under now." And I just remember going, "Shit, this guy's gonna do something crazy to me while I'm under." And he didn't. Obviously, I come back and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sad." But yeah, I was like, but then the last one, to be fair, he said to me when I was going to get the gas bubble taken out, he turned around to me and says, "Oh, you could be in and out of it in 2 hours if you don't go under." And I was like, "Mate, you're going to be messing around with my eye, and I'm not going to be awake for it." And he went, "No, honestly, you'll be here for a day. You'll be here for at least a day if you go under." And I was like, "Geez," I sat there and I thought, "What do I do?" And I thought, "Well, I can't be arsed anymore. I'm just going to get it done." So he just literally wheeled me in this thing, put two needles here and here, and I was like, "Wow, I literally cannot feel it feels the weirdest thing. Like, you just couldn't feel anything." He goes, "Yeah," and you were lying down. He goes, "Do you mind if some students are in with you?" And I was like, all right, I can't do nothing about it. So next thing you know, I feel him poking around and doing stuff and like taking his bubble out. And you can hear students chatting around and stuff. And you're like, "Whoa, this is flipping weird." Like, some guy's in my eye at the moment and there's just students just watching, chatting about it. And like, I just couldn't believe it. And then I was
I
out.
couldn't believe it, innit?
2 hours I was out. And I was just like, sweet.
I'm pretty sure when I had my face reconstruction, one of the anaesthetists I knew, I think he's either from Casuals or from one of those clubs over that way.
Yeah.
He might even be the old like Corsairs club.
Yeah.
And we were chatting about rugby, and then he's obviously like just gone, "Right, I'm going to wind him up a load now." And he's gone, as I'm literally like doing the old countdown before I get knocked out, he's like, "So it's your right leg, isn't it?" And I'm like, "No, it's my face." I've woken up like, "No, it's my face."
Oh my word.
Yeah, but they have to put like a massive pen mark on your eye, which one it is, because they're like, you don't know how many times it could happen. You could get this one operated on, but it's freaking this one. Yeah. And then the 3 lines, like, it's this one.
When you have like a needle and stuff, you're basically getting like permanent markers constantly on your leg. Big circle around the knee.
I'd tell you the worst one though was when my ear, I got a need in the ear or elbow or something, I can't remember. But it went massive, you know, like everyone does. But I was like, I need to get it sorted out. So I had this needle, it went up there, like right into, and I felt like it was going through my brain when this woman, it must have been like that long. And I was like, bloody hell, where's it going? And then I was like, oh, I can't feel my face again. It's like a constant thing now. You just, any operation around here, you just can't feel your face for a bit. You just get used to it, don't you? Oh, that was a bad one.
Grim. Eyes are horrible, man.
Other than that, I've never broke any bone on the rugby pitch apart from a couple of fingers and stuff, and probably toes. But other than that, the other thing I've ever done is I fell over a football and whacked my collarbone on a curb. And that was the only thing I've ever broken. And all them years I played rugby, never done anything. And then flipping, get the eye injury and, I don't know, just in the war sometimes.
Injury prone, aren't you, pal?
Oh, just clumsy bastard, mate. That's what I am. That's what I am. You got to admit, haven't you?
Clumsy in rugby doesn't seem like something that should really work together.
No, if you catch a ball and you...
Have you met any of the Paviors from 5?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Steve Allen's not clumsy, but he's just a bit massive.
Yeah.
Josh Hall is clumsy.
All right, I'm getting clumsy and thick mixed up. Oh. So you're injury prone, but also maybe there's some other stuff you struggle with. We did have a question come in about a certain music festival where you had yet another accident.
Music festival? Oh, God. Anything to jog my memory?
Without you shit yourself.
Oh, I shit myself a fair few times, though. Which one was this one? Oh, no, I know which one you mean.
So I had a message from Will.
From George or Rich? Definitely.
I had one from Will, one from Babs, both about, and one from George, sorry, both about you shitting yourself.
Yeah. This was at Croatia. We did, me, George, and Rich, the Planch, did a interrailing around Europe. So we went all around, like, we flew into Italy, then went around all, like, around Italy, Croatia, where we went to a gig. Then we did, like, Amsterdam on the way back, and then back home, and a couple of other places in between. I was at this festival, and we've been on the booze the whole damn time with this camping bag. We got to Verona, and George was like, "Oh, I've got a tent," and we were like, "What?" We thought we were staying in like hotels or just slumming it. And he was just like, "No, I got a tent." Super sorted us out. So next thing you know, pulls his tent out. Then we just sleep on this tent with no ground sheet, no nothing. We're just like, yeah. Wake up in the morning like, "Oh, Jesus, killing." But then we get to this festival anyway. This is where George met Estelle as well. Like, they parked for the next tent next to us, and her brother Andy was like, "Oh, I had this Queensland's Reds top on." And he goes, "Oh, Queensland's Reds, you're from Australia?" I was like, "No, mate, England." I said, "Just like this top," and which Miles has now got. I gave him that. That's a nice top, that. So he says, and he goes, "Oh yeah, my," and he goes, "Oh, this is my missus." And I says, "Oh yeah," and he says, "Oh, her sister's coming out soon." And George just went, "Oh, Bagsy on her," and it just happened to be Estelle. And literally, like, as soon as they saw each other, they were inseparable. We but then obviously I'm getting back to the toilet story in a minute. So then that was just mad. That was just crazy story. But then night was there, and I goes, "Lads, I've got to go." They were like, "What do you mean?" There was 3 of us in the tent. I go, "I've got to go." They're like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I've got to freaking go." Getting out of this tent, flipping out. Started running up to where this, because the kind of campsite was on the beachfront, and then you had to run up to where these toilets were, so up this hill. So I started running up the hill, and I was like, "Oh no, it's gonna come," and it went. I was like, "I've got to go quick. So then I ran, and it was just, obviously, like you could tell, about 2 weeks on the piss and flipping, just like, you can imagine the food we were eating. It was just like horrible. Gets to the flipping, I couldn't even get to the toilet. I got to shower, just literally woof everywhere. Then just like, I saw that in the morning. I was so pissed, and I was like, I saw it in the morning. Washed it down a little bit, and then next morning I woke up and I was like, "Who the hell was making all that noise up there?" This guy who owns the place was like jet blasting this flipping shower down, like, "Dirty bastards, dirty bastards." George Richard looks at me like, "Was that you?" I was like, "If he's washing a shed load of shit off that shower, then it's definitely me." Oh, mate. And then I put my shorts in a plastic bag, and I thought, "Oh, they ain't getting opened ever." And I thought, "Do you know what? I like them shorts. I'll save them," because they were quite nice shorts. Bagged them up, and I thought, I'll just wash them when I get back to somewhere. We got to Munich, and George said, he says, I says, "Oh, where you been?" He says, "Oh, I've just done some laundry." He says, "Oh, don't worry, I've put your stuff in as well." I says, "What? Even the plastic bag?" He went, "Yeah, let's not talk about that." And that was the shitty shorts. And I still kept them after that. Honestly. Oh, yeah, they were in a right state, they were. Oh, God. Absolute state. Yeah.
Whereabouts in Croatia was it, Ash?
Petrokane, I think it was. So it wasn't Outlook Festival, it was Soundwave Festival. And it was like, Roots Manuva, like, "Witness the Fitness." He was headlining. Yeah. So that was pretty good. And then I think George's cousin and his mate were busking around Europe as well. So they had the saxophone out all the time, and they were singing away and doing all this stuff. So it was just like, it was brilliant, to be honest. Just really good crack, and just like say, on the beach, and on the sea was right in front of you, and it was bloody picturesque, to be honest. And we just got absolutely
Croatia's amazing. Croatia's so nice. So me and Ruth went on our honeymoon. We're going back there in a few years for our 10th anniversary. 10 years.
Yeah. 10 years.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't think all my relationships
23
totaled up at 10 years.
No, why not, mate?
I don't think I've done 10 fucking
What age are you?
I think we've been together for 12 already.
Wow.
12 years.
Yeah.
But Croatia is lovely.
When you got together, I was 14 years old.
Wow.
I was only 18.
Oh, okay, it's not too bad when you say it now.
Oh, no, I was 19.
Jeez. That's a good innings, that, pal.
Get less for murder.
So we've spoken about piss and poo quite a lot before, but have you pooed yourself in public, Phil? We've talked about poo in beds. Have you pooed yourself in public?
Not in public, post night out a few times. Not just like generally in public, just walking through town in cat my pants, but
Well,
few night outs. I
Just
think
in
it's more,
Primark.
I would do it in my sleep. If I've done it, it's in my sleep.
Wake up like, oh.
Yeah, there's no conscious effort.
that's quite impressive though, because at least with a wee, it just happens. With a poo, no matter how desperate you are, you still have to put some effort in.
Mm.
Got relaxed
I
a
use
bit.
that as my exercise.
Exercise.
That and a
Pretentious.
wank, that's my exercise.
No, I don't think I have. I've been sick a lot. So I'm really bad in moving vehicles, especially like if you're in a cab and you sit in the back.
Oh.
If I'm pissed and I sit in the back, it makes me feel horrendous. So I used to get in a lot of trouble walking home. So I grew up in Bridgeford. Used to walk home from town, which got me in a lot of trouble.
Hard around Bridgeford, mate.
It's well hard.
Not in that sort of trouble. Like
All them people with their lacrosse sticks hitting you on the way past.
not that sort of trouble. I'm saying in terms of like not getting home until 5 o'clock in the morning because I left town at 3.
How long did it take you to walk?
I was pissed out my face. It's taken me 2 hours to zigzag down London Road and then all the way up Mustard Road. Yeah.
I've walked back because obviously we go into Sherwood quite a lot, obviously, and I've done it where I've left Peck to go into another pub and he's walking home, and I've been in the pub for an hour and still overtaking him on the way home back into town. And it'd be like I'll leave him and he'll start walking off as I go into the Robin Hood or something for an hour, and I'll still catch up with him before the Gravesner.
Yeah, that's an effort, that.
But he's talked to everyone. He'll talk to a tree about our Josh.
Oh, he would do. He would do.
Uh,
Oh no! What a guy! What a guy! I was trying to think the last time I pooed myself, and it was a while ago. But I was drunk. But I did that thing of going into like a wooded area, actually shitting, and then realised I'd not missed my trousers or my boxers. So I'm like on a tree rubbing it down with the bar. So I ditched the boxers and just walked home with shitty jeans on. But
at least you knew you're doing it.
that is how I'm going to meet my future wife one day. Phil, have you got a package?
Always.
Always. Do you want to get it out?
Always. Yeah. All right, then. So Ash, I think you've seen the previous episodes.
I've seen some of them, yeah.
Some of them.
All of them.
Negative, but that's fine. So obviously, quick as you can for an answer, please.
Yeah.
And we'll start with, as always, red or green.
Green.
Favorite alcoholic beverage.
Carlin.
Favorite rugby position.
Inside centre.
Favorite brand of beans.
Oh, Heinz. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Boobs or butt.
Boobs.
George or Steve.
Oh.
Oh.
See, because I would want to punch.
Steve. 15s or 7s.
Oh, 15s.
Favorite opposition to play against.
Mansfield, because it's always a bit of a beast.
Used to be.
Yeah, true.
Johnny or Jim.
Oh, John. But I love Jim as well.
Ooh.
That was very, at least sometimes.
I haven't known Jim as long as Johnny.
Okay.
Positivity for John at last.
Plus, also, I can remember when oh, you still got more to go. I've got a bit.
No. That's always the finisher, mate.
Sorry. I know it's a classic. But Johnny was we remember where the balcony is. I can't remember who we were playing, but when I was playing back row, like for some strange reasons, we're up there. So then we were all coming in. A bit of a shit story to fair. Only me and Johnny get it. But as soon as we was driving for the line and we was going there, and I just went to Johnny. Johnny went, fire. And I went, you can set this place on fire with that, a macho lighter. And next thing you know, I just grabbed the ball and we scored. You know, like the tiny temper.
Great.
You're right, that is an in-joke. That is an in-joke.
No, do me and John see with anyone that get it.
I could see as you started to say that, you went, Oh shit! I can't get
I'm
out.
not going to get this video. Oh, I haven't started talking.
I was not that good at editing that we can edit that out.
I'm not editing that out because I could see behind the eyes, behind the one working eye. Ash went, "Oh shit! Away from this."
Oh, fuck this one up royally.
Right, Ash, we've received some questions from the listeners. Another one from a certain Dubai resident is, who is currently on your official friends list?
Official friends list. This is because everyone used to have top 50 friends, and the only people that could come to any of my parties when I was at Gilbert was top 50. I used to be like, oh yeah, anyone coming that's not your top 50? And you're like, oh, bloody hell. So I got this top 50 friends list, and I don't know where it came from, but it's nothing true. Everyone's my friend. You know what I mean? It just used to get me so wound up from it.
Wait, you were asked.
Hey?
You were asked to make a 50 top friends list.
No, because when we was at Gilbert, me, Glenn, and Starkey had this house together that was in Coppice, just top of Coppice Road. It was a big house, but it was a party house. So we just kind of just invited people to come to the party house, and it was just like, yeah, we've got a UV party this weekend, or a Halloween party, or we've got, I don't know, we just used to have a dual pool party, we had a pool table, and we had a massive pool in the garden. So it was like, we'll have a dual pool party. We used to invite people, and then they were like, Mars used to be like, oh, can I have an invite? What? And he'd be like, oh no, it's top 50 only, top 50 only. And then it just kind of just rolled on. And then obviously everyone hears out of the pitch, and everyone's like, oh, top 50. No, can I come? And I'm like, everyone come. Don't need to be in the top 50. There's no top 50. And they're like, oh, top 50 friends. Yeah.
That's quite
So
good.
it just got like that, to be fair. And then, like I said, I was like, look, everyone come to this party. And then you invite everyone. No one flipping. You know what I mean? Everyone was like, Big Steve came a few times, a few people, like George used to be there, and like Doug came a few times. I think the majority, a load of people came, but it was just 2 years of just me and a couple of lads just getting on it for 2 years, basically. So they loved it though. Miles just thought it was just funny. So that's where it comes from.
Nice.
I don't know who's on the list. There's not a top list. That's why there's no a list.
Have you not got a top list?
That's what you say anyway.
No list, mate.
I can't count to 50. Something that, this isn't a question that's come from a listener, but it's been a question that I've had for a while, talking about your friends and your friendship group. He often to mention on here, but why do you like Tom Casey?
Why?
Yeah.
Me and Tom Casey go way back.
You're the same age, aren't you?
Yeah, we've been on tons of holidays. We went on all the lads' holidays together. We went to Malia, Magaluf, Ibiza, bloody, just anywhere that's a party. Then we'll just go and, I don't know.
He's got the body of like a 12-year-old boy.
He is like my son, but I'm same age as him, and he has got a very small body. When we used to go to the gym, it always used to be, I'd take a few weights off and stuff for him and help him out a bit.
You could bench him with his knob.
That's about the strongest part of him. He could put his knob as his bicep. Stronger. Poor lad. Sorry, Tom.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad. He's all right. Should we move on to talk a bit about rugby, considering it's a rugby podcast? We just talk about injuries and.
Yeah, that's about all I know, mate. To be fair, rugby wasn't very good.
Going from John T, who's such a rugby nose, to someone who doesn't really give a shit. It's quite a difference.
Mate, if I'm honest, I tell you what I did when I played rugby. I only played it because when I was like 6, I used to be a bit of a hothead, and my dad was like, you need to go and do something other than, I don't know, terrorise everyone. So I was like, right, okay. And I was like, oh, I'll go and play rugby. So that's when I ended up coming to Pavs, and then actually started like the hot-headedness coming down a little bit. But
I totally disagree. Totally disagree. I remember playing with you. So for those who don't know, Ash is in the age group above me. He's a year older than me, and I got asked to play in one of your games. I would have been an under 15. You boys would have been under 16s. And Ash spat his dummy out after about 30 seconds and just had totally lost his head for the rest of the game.
Oh God. I've ended up having, there was one season I can remember we played I played some real shite team, but we were playing crap. And instead of just having a go at everyone, I just ran up to the post. The referee was like having a bit of a go at me, and I just booted the post for no reason. That broke me down foot. And then got yellow carded for it. And that season was actually quite a good season for me. And I ended up I got about 10 yellow cards that season. I didn't get sent off, but I got so many yellow cards. And I was like, God, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm just losing my head every 2 minutes. And
When he was younger, when Ash was younger, he wasn't quite like your face now is quite chiseled. You had a bit of like a chubby melon face, and he used to get angry and it just go bright red.
Like this, but like that. Yeah, it's thinned itself out a bit now.
Who's the most hot-headed player you've played with then? Talk about hot-headed.
Probably. Oh, I don't know, really. Let's have a think. Let me just think
as well.
God.
But you played with some hotheads, Phil.
Probably someone. I think it's always someone like Lang or someone like that that just gets stuck into everything. But it won't really like. Obviously, like he's flipping. It won't be that hot-headed though. Like to a point where you're just going to go and punch a post or something like that. But yeah probably Lang or someone like that, really. Or Chut. No, I tell you, Chut sometimes.
Chutney was quite bad for losing.
Thinking of Lang, I was like, oh, as you know, Chut used to like get stuck into everyone. Screw him off. If you were in the opposition, you would get ensued.
Yeah.
You were getting shooed. So, Gas Havard as well. Or like they used to play for my like.
Havard, I remember that name.
Yeah, he used to play number 8, and he used to get a bit wound up and run through. He was a good number 8. He was. But yeah, just a few. Joe Roach, we've got a bit of he was in my age group. Yeah, so there's a few couple.
You were a good age group,
quite a hot-headed group. I was.
Yeah, quite a physical group.
Yeah, there was a big scrap one time. We played Melton Mowbray, and yeah, it all kicked off. I scored a try or something, which doesn't happen often. So I scored a try, and I put the ball down. This player jumped on the back of my back with his knees. And Matt Currybert, he was the one. So he was playing flanker, and he come up and started booting this lad, like booting him. And I was like, bloody hell, like, calm down, man, I'm all right. Next thing you know, ref's like, yellow cards and stuff. And then, how long later? Probably about 10, 15 minutes later, there's a line out, and everyone's in the line out getting his crack on. And Mike Allen, bless him, he put his blooming flag up because he was lino. Next thing you know, some lads jumped on his back and then like trying to like pull him over, and everyone else like, right, we're kicking off now. And it was like obviously like me, Big Steve was in the team, Darius, Matt Curry, Abthorpe, yeah, they were all in it, and it all flipping just kicked off, full on brawl, dads on lads as well. It was flipping like ridiculous. And then the game got abandoned, and then in the change room after, people, it was like a football thing. People were getting. They came into our change rooms with bottles and things like this, and we were like, freaking, this is actually a rugby match. Like, next thing you know, it all kicked off. And I think twice we played them, and it all just absolutely kicked off both times. Yeah. So we didn't play them again.
We had a bit of beef with them age group as well. So I didn't start playing properly until I was sort of under 15. And we played there maybe in my 4th or 5th game for Pabs. As a kid, me and George, and ran through and scored a try, and they had quite a small team, but obviously I was a bit of a gigantor at that age. And I think I got a hat-trick and I scored my 3rd try, and some bloke on the sideline started like saying, "Who's that big freaks? I want to see his playing certificate. He can't be the right age." And my dad, being my dad, who's quite relatively calm and can think things through, just goes, "Oh no, he's definitely the right age." And the guy was like, "How do you know?" He goes, "Well, I was there when he came out his mother's vagina." He said something like pretty crude for my dad or something. And the guy was just like, "Oh, all right then."
Sorted him out. Melton Mowbray though, little team that sells bloody pork pies, and next thing you know, they're scrapping with everyone. You know,
nothing else to do though with Melton Mowbray.
Leicestershire, mate, innit? It's Leicestershire. It's diabolical place.
That's
absolutely grim. We got on to talking rugby Phil, have you got any questions while we're here? While we're on the topic of rugby?
Yeah, why don't we ask you, Ash, what is your worst rugbying moment?
Worst rugby moment? Oh, what would my worst rugby moment be? Dear.
I mean, you
Probably,
nearly lost an eye.
hey.
You nearly lost an eye. That's...
Well, that is a bad one, but I've already thought that is a bad one. But I don't know. I'll tell you one time I was a bit, my worst moment personally is I can remember when, I can't remember if it was Dave Hood or Miles or someone. And they turned around and was like, oh, you're going to go captain today? And I was like, what? I was like, captain? I can't make a decision to save my damn life. Everyone was like, yes, no, maybe, because I'm so indecisive, like I used to be. And this was at my peak of indecisiveness. And I think it was like, I'm sure it was Dave Hood. And he was just like, yeah, you be captain today. And I was like, surely you pick someone like Big Steve or someone like that to be captain, like who usually is captain. But I don't think he was there. I think Darius was doing a job at captain or something. I said, all right, I'll give it a go. Flipping out, first 5 minutes, I was losing my head anyway at that time, but I lost me completely. I was like, oh my God, I'm captain this team. What the hell is going on? I'm supposed to have cool, calm and collected, and I'm just losing my shit. And the ref was like, oh, what do you want? It's a penalty. Do you want trying to kick his line out or do you want to go post? And I was like, I don't know, ref, I don't know, but I have to get someone else in. It's only a simple decision. I was too worried about upsetting someone and making a bad call or something. It was only, do you want to go for the post or do you want to go for the line? Oh, so after that, I was like, someone else do it.
Sir, I'm not being funny. I've never done this before.
This is basically
I
what
get to choose. I get to choose.
I don't know.
I've never been in this position. I just go, oh yeah, someone's made a decision, I'll go along with that.
Yeah. What would you do?
That was a moment of where I should have stepped up to the plate and I just went and bottled it. So, that is my worst rugby moment, to be fair.
That's quite a good one.
I like that one. Bit different. What's your best rugby moment?
Probably there's a few. Like obviously, like tell you another. I've got loads of bad ones. When I left, and then you lot went and flipping got promoted. They rugby, and then all of a sudden everyone started getting their gun. And I was watching from New Zealand and France, like shit. I should have gone ages ago. The lads are doing well good now.
Yeah, we bought this new 12 in, mate. It was class.
Yeah, he actually does something with the ball. It actually makes line breaks.
Got 2 eyes.
And actually passed us. Oh dear.
No, you don't.
Yeah, best one. Probably when I got Player of the Year when I was under 18s, and then that was good. But that was my season that I got all these yellow cards, so I was kind of like. And then I thought, right, Ash, you're 18. You're under 18s. You literally. It was a choice between booze and women or rugby, and I went with booze and women. So it was one of those ones where I thought, right, okay, look, you just got Player of the Year. You could be doing something now. If you just keep pushing on, and you could do all right. And then I think Bob Hoskins, is it Bob Hoskins?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said to me, oh, come and, he says, oh, come and do, he says, you've had a good season. Come and do this NLD tournament or something. Just want you to come along. I was like, oh, sound, yeah, I'll do that. So, and I was all right, but I went out in that form, got absolutely trolleyed. And then they were like, oh, we'll chuck you on. And I was like, oh, God, you have to. And I was like, bloody hell. Like, and I can remember I got an intercepted pass and scored a try. And then after that, I was just crap. And I thought, let myself down here. I'm bloody letting myself down. And it was one of those ones where it was so good. And then all of a sudden, the booze and women started taking over. And I was like, oh, God. And I was like, I've made my choice here. I've got to just lay with it. And then that's why nothing else ever happened.
You know what? For years and years, I tried to let women take over, but just never worked. They just never, ever wanted themselves to take over my life, which is why I now host a bloody rugby podcast. They never took over my life. But nothing.
I suppose at least I had a choice.
I think we might end it there, unless we've got anything else to ask you. Have you got anything else, Phil, to ask Ash before we let him go back into the wilderness?
No, I think that was a bit of a different take on rugby experience from a man who's done it all.
But not in the last 4 years.
Yeah, and obviously not as well as we're doing it now, but you know.
No, but I'll just keep coming to training when my knee's better and just make up numbers.
Yeah, you get that knee sorted out, mate.
I'm just to make up numbers. Just for a run around. See the lads, have a beer.
We can make you captain again, but in the second team.
Oh, no, I can't make them sort of decisions, mate. Put me under too much pressure. I lose my head.
Just want to please everyone, don't you? Just a people pleaser.
That's it, mate. I'm like, what's everyone think? What's the majority think about this decision?
Taking a vote.
Right,
Taking a vote.
thumbs up for corner, thumbs down for posts. What are we doing, lads?
Every decision takes about 10 bloody minutes. Oh, dear.
Thanks, Ash, for coming on, mate, and we'll chat to you soon.
All right, lads. Thanks very much.
Thanks. So there we go. That's the story of Ash Weatherall. Interesting. He's a bit loose, isn't he, really?
Yeah, like really nice person. You can spend all your time with him, and he'd never say boo to a goose. But obviously,
No.
yeah, a few beers in or 10 beers in, the real Ash comes out.
Yeah.
Ashley comes out.
Ashley, he's the alter ego. Well, I remember being I think it was a few weeks ago at training, and he was just he just went and introduced himself and made all the new lads feel welcome. And I was like, oh yeah, he is a nice guy. And then you forget the drunk Ash, and then you the two, and it's quite hard to decide which one you like and which one you don't. But no, it's I hope people enjoyed it. Before we go on to some club announcements, who are we having next week, Phil?
We're going to have El Presidente. We're going to get Bob Senior on because,
the bottle.
well, he's been requested a few times.
I know. I think it's because I've seen him on red wine.
Yeah, that and the fact I can't wait to see him try and set up a Zoom call. That could be quite interesting too.
That might just have to be our intro next week. Let's do a Zoom call. I wonder if we'll go to play Open the Box. That'd be nice.
We could play Open the Box.
Maybe that could be our first competition. See if he wants to do a virtual Open the Box. Get people
and get to stand up.
Get him to stand up. Love it. It's sorted. So obviously Bob next week say also we've got the minis and juniors are back or going back training.
They're back. They started this week. Yeah, they had a full week's training. I'd love to tell you what age groups from what night, but it's way too confusing. There's some on Monday and there's some on Wednesday. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, and I think there's an article on the website. I'm just
check the website.
The article's on the website. So if you don't know when your mini or your juniors are going back, or if they want to start, go and have a look at the website. That's all on there. And also, girls rugby is back on Monday as well.
Yep, girls rugby starts Monday. Not sure exactly who's coaching that. Chev will be there, and then one or two others I would have thought as well.
Do you know the time?
Check the website.
The website says Wednesday, 7 to 8.
Okay, so it's a Wednesday. Don't do Monday.
Wednesday, 7 to 8.
Don't Monday. I won't bother. Wednesday, if you want to be a girls' training.
Unless you want to do some extras. Monday's your extras day. You can do that. Cool. Phil, just out of tradition, any wise words?
No.
No. Apart from don't drink a bottle of JD first thing in the morning.
That, and then don't go in the shower and run through a kitchen because you might slip.
Yeah, and if you've just had an eye operation, don't go and do deadlifts.
Yeah, that is stupid. Like,
what?
if you're partially injured and you go to a gym, you think, well, I've just come off an operation. Why do deadlifts? Like, that wouldn't be my first choice.
Mate, if I've got a dead toenail on my right foot, I don't go to the gym. Why would you go to the gym after you've just had a major eye operation?
Who are you kidding? You don't go to the gym anyway.
Right. Speak to you in a bit, mate.
All right, see you later.